ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts with your host, Dan Bongino.
My family and my name have been totally and permanently destroyed. This confirmation process has become a national disgrace. This is a circus. I will not be intimidated into withdrawing from this process. Due process is a foundation of the American rule of law. Due process means listening to both sides. Last time I was here, I told you that when my mom was a prosecutor and I was in high school, she used to practice her closing arguments. Use your common sense. What rings true? What rings false? A lifetime of public service and a lifetime of high-profile public service at the highest levels of American government, and never a hint of anything of this kind. And that's because nothing of this kind ever happened.
No doubt in your mind.
Zero. I'm 100% certain.
You swear to God.
I swear to gosh.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure. I don't know how many of you understand the cataclysmic shift we all witnessed yesterday. Producer Joe, how are you today? Thank you for putting together that excellent montage. We have never done that before. And it's odd. Joe and I both got on the air this morning. We always talk before the show. And I said, Joe, this is a cataclysmic shift in our politics, the culture war, what's happening in the country, what happened yesterday. I am going to go through systematically for you exactly the old rules that got thrown out yesterday and the new rules that are now in effect. But I think it was important to come in cold with an absolutely explosive, powerful statement by what I believe to be an innocent man wrongly accused yesterday in Brett Kavanaugh, which has unquestionably changed the course, I believe, of American politics and American culture for a long time. Folks, make no mistake, what you witnessed yesterday was a cataclysmic shift for the left in our politics. I don't know where else you get your information from. I'm happy you're here. There are a lot of other great places and a lot of great content producers. I'm telling you that there are a number of people, many on the left, some on the so-called never Trump right, who are reading what happened yesterday so apocalyptically wrong they should get out of the commentary field forever. Old rules are out. The new rules are in, folks. Let's get right to it. As of yesterday, the old rules. Trump's too gruff. The Twitter stuff, the hard edge, the tough talk. It's too gruff, Joe. The old rules, we don't need that. The old rules were this: we have to play on their terms, Joe. The Republicans are inherently the bad guys. The Democrats have the moral high ground. And our goal, Joe, the entire time in the old rules, where we constantly apologize and explain things away using academics, we don't need gruff, tough talk. It just makes us look like more of the bad guys. Old rules. Old rules. That all changed yesterday. The old rules are out. The new rules are in. We play on our terms. Build the damn building. We now have a guy in office who gets into fistfights, and the rules are we win, you lose. This guy was a builder in the toughest building environment on earth. In New York City, dealing with unions, dealing with the mob, dealing with absolutely horrible bureaucrats in the New York City government where I grew up. I worked for the New York City Police Department. This guy had to build a damn building. That was the only marker of success. There was no bootlicking. There was no ass kissing. There was build the damn building. Get the building built. Build the damn building. Nothing else matters. You win by putting those bricks on the ground and laying the mortar in between them. You don't win by endlessly apologizing for doing it. Old rules, Trump's too gruff. We don't need this. New rules, we win, you lose. Winning matters. We are not going to negotiate on your terms anymore. We are not going to stipulate in advance that you have some kind of moral high ground. We are now going to expose you for who you are and what you did. And the Democrats are walking out now with the committee hearing on the vote for Kavanaugh. Walk out. You want chaos? We'll give you chaos. Because now it's a fist fight. This is a straight up fist fight. You punched us in the gut for too long. We're now putting the hands up and the fight is on. We are a peaceful, God-fearing people and we always will be. But we will defend ourselves. Politically, we will defend ourselves in this culture war now. The old rules are over. There is no more negotiating on your terms. You are going to ruthlessly engage in character assassination of our people. Endlessly. It has happened for decades. Every istophobic, phobophobic term you could throw our way, you've thrown our way. And you know when that stopped yesterday? There was a critical juncture in time yesterday that happened. Nothing will ever be the same after this. I'm sure of this, and I mean this, folks, attribute it to hyperbolic language all you want. I don't care. I have been a keen observer of this for a long, long time. The moment Lindsey Graham retook the floor from Rachel Mitchell, God bless her, I thought they brought her there to do a job. I think a lot of the criticism of her is unwarranted. She's not there to be a politician. She was there to gather facts. Rachel Mitchell, who was the prosecutor from Arizona, who asked the questions of Dr. Ford. But there was a critical moment yesterday where the Republicans saw that when Judge Kavanaugh was up there, that they had to take back the floor and engage this for what it was. It was no longer a fact-finding mission. It was a culture war to destroy any Republican nominee now and in the future and take back the floor. And Graham got up there and said, this is not a fact-finding mission anymore. This is a smear job by you. And he pointed to them. You guys did this. You did this.
If you wanted an FBI investigation, you could have come to us. What you want to do is destroy this guy's life, hold this seat open, and hope you win in 2020. You've said that, not me. You've got nothing to apologize for. When you see Sotomayor and Kagan, tell them that Lindsay said hello, because I voted for them. I would never do to them what you've done to this guy. This is the most unethical sham since I've been in politics. And if you really wanted to know the truth, you sure as hell wouldn't have done what you've done to this guy. Are you a gang rapist?
No.
I cannot imagine what you and your family have gone through. Boy, y'all want power. God, I hope you never get it. I hope the American people can see through this sham. That you knew about it and you held it. You had no intention of protecting Dr. Ford. None. She's as much of a victim as you are. God, I hate to say it because these have been my friends. But let me tell you, when it comes to this, you're looking for a fair process, you came to the wrong town at the wrong time, my friend.
You want justice? You want real justice? You better damn well recognize the fist fight we're in right now. And halfway through that hearing, Lindsey Graham recognized right away, and God bless him. And listen, Graham hasn't been with us on everything. The time for that, you have to understand, folks, this is a fist fight. This is a fist fight, meaning you may get punched a few times here and there, but you got to go with your best guy at your best moment. And Graham, with a history of prosecutions, as a prosecutor, having been involved in the Clinton impeachment hearing, Graham was the perfect guy for that moment. And sometimes when you're down, you bring up the best guy for the moment, although he may not have been the best guy at every moment. There are guys in my jiu-jitsu class who got a damn good guard on their back, but they can't play the top game for squat. Graham may not be the best guy on immigration, but you damn well bet he was the best guy yesterday to put a stop to this BS crap right there yesterday, this sham hearing what it was, and call it what it was. They treated Dr. Ford with respect and dignity. They did everything they could to have a clearly traumatized woman speak there. They let her say what she had to say. The prosecutor treated her with dignity. And the Democrats turned around and took a dump on Judge Kavanaugh. And it was time to call it what it was. This is a fist fight now. This isn't some fair game nonsense where we're out here in a fact-finding mission. There were no facts that came out yesterday. I'm going to talk about the so-called facts that was supposedly brought out yesterday, or the lack thereof, too. What you witnessed from Lindsey Graham yesterday were the end of the old rules. The new rules are in. Build the damn building. And to build the building, we win. I don't care how it gets built, how that brick gets down, how that mortar lays on top. We are going to fight for life, for economic freedom. We're going to fight for our healthcare system and our kids' education. And we're going to build that damn building. And however that building gets built, whoever gets knocked down doing it, if you want to knock them down, drag out political fight, then we are game. You want to walk out? You want chaos? We will give you the chaos you want. But we will control it this time. You need any more motivation to get out and vote in November? Folks, I'm sorry, I love you to death. But if you dare sit this one out, you have no excuse. I get it. Oh, I don't like early voting. I don't care. And neither should you. Fight it on the ballot. The first day early voting starts, every one of you should be at that ballot booth. Request it by mail, request it by absentee, request the damn thing by carrier pigeon. You get your vote in and you take 10 friends with you. And you stop these chaos-producing maniacs on the left who wanted nothing more than a sham hearing. I don't like how Graham voted on immigration. I don't either. I don't care. To build the building, we need every single warrior up there. Listen, my congressman's a personal friend. I could not disagree with him more on significant issues. If you think for a second I'm voting Democrat to send some kind of piss-poor message, you are out of your mind. I don't care how crappy or horrible your Republican is. The alternative is absolute, utter chaos, what you witnessed yesterday. Sheldon Whitehouse, the sham, disgraceful Democrat senator, asking him about fart jokes, Kavanaugh. Fart jokes. You think I'm making this up? Look in my show notes today. Read Byron York's piece from the Washington Examiner about the disgrace Sheldon Whitehouse was yesterday. It goes list by list, the abomination this man is. His ridiculous questions to a dignified public servant. Asking about human flatulence games. Old rules are over. Over. We win. You lose. Period. Full stop. Here's the other old rule you can stick a fork in as of yesterday. The critical theory culture wars will no longer be played on your terms. No more. This culture war, critical theory, the male patriarchy, you're inherently evil if you're a white male. Over. It's over. You expected yesterday what you absurdly tried to make a racial fight using identity politics. The people involved in this, Dr. Ford and Judge Kavanaugh, are both white. There was no racial component to this. You knew that. You tried to make this an identity politics war because you're obsessed with critical theory. The idea that knowledge, actual knowledge and facts are only a construct of power, and the fact that white males have dominated the power structure for decades, that facts and knowledge no longer matter, and identity politics is, you're going to triage your priorities are number one. It's over. We're not fighting on your terms anymore. The old rules. The culture war, the white male patriarchy. Republicans should apologize first for the lack of melanin in their skin and their biological parts, although they had no component in choosing either one of those things. You wanted Kavanaugh to back down. You needed him to back down. You were praying for him to back down. And he came out firing on all cylinders. And I'll tell you what the new rules are, folks. The new rules is we are going to fight back. The new rules are we're going to fight back. We are not going to back down. And the fact that you are going to now try to throw him under the bus and say, oh, listen, it speaks to a lack of temperament. In case if you've been listening to my show or you missed something over the last 2 years, I really don't care about temperament. What do I care about? Build the damn building. We win, you lose. If they got a temperament problem, which Kavanaugh doesn't, by the way, there's no evidence of that at all. Even if he did, don't care. You know why? I'm not working with the old rules anymore. Oh, he's an angry white male and he showed it yesterday. Don't care. We're not playing on your terms anymore. The new rules are take your critical theory and shove it right up your caboose. That's the new rules. We will judge people on their merits, on their character. You want to marry yourself through identity politics, the melanin component of someone's skin, where they were born in their religion, you knock yourself out, you liberal loons. We are going to judge people based on who they are and a lifetime of evidence. Old rule number 3. You can stick a fork in. Can't mess with the media, Joe. They buy ink by the barrel. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah? Bring it, kids. Bring it right now. You can bury that old rule. Judge Kavanaugh was crystal clear yesterday in acknowledging what all of us already know. And now you can take it out to the general population and across the heartland of America. The mainstream media is the opposition. I am absolutely, openly, and will vocally and always support a free press. No caveats, no buts, no ifs, nothing. A free press means they have the right and they are free to be stupid. They take us up on that opportunity often. They are allowed to be free, and we're free to recognize them for who they are. We are free to recognize them for the opposition party they've become. They are, listen to me, and let's be crystal clear. They are free to be that opposition party, and you are free to recognize it. And now, as of yesterday, the old rules are out. Oh, we don't want to mess with the media. No, we are messing with the media, because the media is messing with us. The violent stuff, obviously, is the leftist stuff. We are governed by big R rights, granted by God, including people in the media who choose to act stupidly. But we will recognize them on political terms exactly for who they are. And Kavanaugh smartly brought that into his opening yesterday, addressing the fact that this has been a media smear job running with absolutely uncorroborated, hysterical, in some cases, hysterical accusations against him of rape trains. Old rules. Don't mess with the media. New rules. Bring it, kids. Bring it. They are the opposition. They should be treated as such when it comes to politics. Old rules. We should argue stuff on the merits, the facts. The data matters. Ladies and gentlemen, the data and the facts do matter. They matter to me, and they matter to you. Ladies and gentlemen, the data and the facts are entirely and completely irrelevant to the radical left. It is your responsibility as a conservative and a libertarian to passionately argue your case using facts and data. You may say, Dan, you're taking two contradictory positions. No, I'm not. My experience in running for office is you absolutely have to know the facts on the taxes. You have to know facts about school choice. You have to know the data on healthcare choice and the lack thereof in socialized countries. But you are not arguing those facts with the left. When I used to debate people at the county fair, I remember the Maryland State Fair up in the fairgrounds. Joe knows where it is. He's been there many times. When I was at the Republican booth, liberals would argue with me all the time. You're not arguing the facts with them. Liberals are not interested in facts. Remember, they believe in critical theory, the old rules, that knowledge is irrelevant because it's a construct of power. Knowledge means nothing. Power matters. That is what the essence of critical theory. You are not arguing the facts with them to get them to change their minds. Their minds are not changeable. You are arguing for the third person listening. There's always a third person there, folks. Always. Someone videos it, someone hears it. The liberal's a lost cause. The modern liberal is an absolute lost cause. You're not wasting your time, however, presenting facts and data because the third person listening is hearing what you're saying and hearing the hysteria of the far left. Having said that, in a strict power play, in the we win, you lose scenario, arguing with facts and data is no longer enough. Now we will elect people and we will use raw political power via the way the constitutional republic has laid out for us. We will not usurp power like the left does. We will do it the right way, but we will take that power and we will win, and we are going to crush you on this. We win, you lose. There is no backing down. There is no, oh, this isn't my guy. I met my Republican congressman and he treated my dog. I don't care about your dog. I care about holding committee chairmanships. Get your butt in the voting booth and vote for these guys, even though I've been a leading advocate of the clowns, many of them are too. But we have got good people up there who are at a minimum trying to avert an absolute apocalyptic disaster if the Democrats, this chaos-producing entity of a party, takes power back. You've got Jim Jordan. You've got Mike Lee. You've got people up there, Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, you need to get out and vote. There is no excuse. You may say, oh, you know, it's the most important election of our lifetime. You know what? This is more important than a Trump election because they didn't see us coming. You and I, Joe, both know it. They did not see us coming. These cocky liberals were smiling all the way to the election booth. Yep. We blindsided them. I boxed for a long time. What's the best punch in the world, Joe?
The one
the opponent never saw coming. You're damn right.
Yeah.
Any good boxing coach will tell you that. The best punch in the world is the one your opponent never saw coming.
Boom!
They didn't see us. They never saw us. They see us now. They're ready. They've been training. Literally been training. Everything, not boxing training, but they have been training in obstruction and in chaos. Mm-hmm. They're not ready for the storm. We're ready. We're armed with the facts and data, but we're also armed with the knowledge that the facts and data are not there to win elections. Elections are won by you showing up and exercising raw political power. The facts and data are there for the third person. They're not there for the liberal. You need to acknowledge that now. Know your stuff, but be ready to exercise raw political power. Show up, get your friends, get your kids, anybody eligible to vote that you can convince to drive. You get in your car. You get them to do it by mail. Make sure your parents are voting. Anybody eligible, anyone within the bounds of legality, you get to those voting booths and you vote. And you vote down the line Republican. I get it. A lot of these guys are dogs. I get it. I understand it. Get them in there. They'll hold the chairmanship for Nunez and others. Do you see the chaos you are inviting in otherwise? I don't know what moral victory you think you're having, but you're not sitting this one out. There's no sitting it out. There was a cultural shift yesterday that will be meaningless if you don't do something about it. Old rule number 5. And I want to hat tip Rich Lowry. Rich Lowry from National Review. Rich Lowry, Joe. As critical a Trumper as you're ever going to meet. Mm-hmm. But this is no time for us to go, oh, forget him. He didn't like Trump. No. Everybody on the field. Everybody. I don't care how much that bothers you. Oh, that guy didn't like Trump. Too bad. Everybody on the field. This is no time for BS. Everybody. Rich Lowry wants to get on the field at National Review and fight. Welcome aboard, brother. Rich Lowry in my show notes has a must-read. I say this a lot. Get to the show notes today. I don't care if you go to my webpage or not. It's there at the show notes. Read the darn article at National Review. Rich Lowry, as critical of a Trumper as you've ever seen, acknowledges in today's piece after this abomination of a hearing that this is a validation of Trumpian politics. Read the headline of the piece. This one I have to hat tip to him. Old rules, according to Rich Lowry. Hey, Joe, good character matters. Good character doesn't mean squat anymore. They ran John McCain. They ran Mitt Romney. All have cozied up to the press for a long time. Not speaking ill of the dead. I'm not doing that. You guys do what you want. It's not my bag of donuts. I'm sorry. But they ran a guy who enjoyed his time with the press and cozied up to them and developed relationships with the press for a long time in McCain. And they ran a Mormon with a lifetime of donating his salary to charity in Mitt Romney. And you know what happened? They were painted as Nazis and racists and tax evaders. Good character doesn't mean anything. You know what matters? Winning. And that's why you got this ballbuster in there now who wins. He builds stuff. Build a building. Build the damn building. He builds buildings. He doesn't talk about it. He doesn't kiss the press's ass to build a building. He's not shining your damn shoes. He's not getting anybody's shine box. He builds buildings. We tried this before. We ran a Mormon. We ran a POW. And they were still called Nazis. We win. We win. We build stuff. Stuff is getting built. And it's no time for you to kick a few damn builders off your job because you don't like the fact that they kicked your dog 6 months ago. I don't care. Get every one of these clowns in there for one reason and one reason only. We will exercise raw political power, and you will put an R in front of your name, and we will vote for you, because good character doesn't mean squat anymore. It doesn't mean squat. You will be called a Nazi and the most disgusting terms known to humankind, no matter what you do. It's over. Over. We build buildings now. No more ass kissing. No more bending over backwards to kiss the boots of the media. No more. We build the damn buildings now. And this guy in the White House builds stuff. And he doesn't care about who builds the damn thing. Get your workers in there. Get your team on the field. Get your warriors on the battlefield. Man up now. Now. Get your ballots in. Get your 10 friends. Do not let this moment pass. Listen to me. I don't need any more money from anybody. Share this podcast with someone. Anyone. Please. I don't even care. I need you to motivate 10 people to get out and vote. This is a cataclysmic shift in our culture that has to be married up to raw political power. We are defending the Republic. The Democrats are desperate to usher in an era of chaos that will be no turning back from. New rules. We win. Winning first. You're not ready for this, then turn off your TV. If you're not ready for this, my show may not be for you. I would easily, gladly lose an audience standing by principle any day. That's fine. But if you're not ready for this fight, all I ask is that you back away and don't take anybody with you. Just peacefully walk away, that's fine. But if you're ready, you need to do. You need to do. Talk is cheap. It is meaningless. You need to do something. You need to get on your Facebook. You need to get on your Twitter. You need to get on your email list. You need to get on your phone. Did you vote? Did you vote? Did you? You need to vote. Tired of this whole voting doesn't matter. You know what? It does matter. Yeah, we're losing on a lot of things. We got a bunch of weak-kneed guys who voted us into a spending abyss. I get it. Do you understand that this cultural fight and the cataclysmic shift yesterday takes primacy over everything? If you let this moment die and they take back power, forget about the country's finished. It is open season on anybody who opposes them. Do you understand what happened yesterday? For the first time in modern American history, a blatant, disgusting, horrible, atrocious character attack on Republicans in modern American history, in the era of new vicious politics, was vocally opposed on the Senate floor in a watershed moment by Lindsey Graham that mobilized the base. If it mobilizes the base to do nothing, it didn't mobilize, it did squat. Now it is up to you. Graham gave you the football. You have to run down the field.
This is going to destroy the ability of good people to come forward because of this crap. Your high school yearbook. You have interacted with professional women all your life, not one accusation. You're supposed to be Bill Cosby when you're a junior and senior in high school. And all of a sudden you got over it. It's been my understanding that if you drug women and rape them for 2 years in high school, you probably don't stop. Here's my understanding. If you lived a good life, people would recognize it. Like the American Bar Association has the gold standard. His integrity is absolutely unquestioned. He is the very circumspect in his personal conduct, harbors no biases or prejudices. He's entirely ethical, is a really decent person. He is warm, friendly, unassuming. He's the nicest person. The ABA. The one thing I can tell you, you should be proud of. Ashley, you should be proud of this. That you raised a daughter who had the good character to pray for Dr. Ford. To my Republican colleagues, if you vote no, you're legitimizing the most despicable thing I have seen in my time in politics. You want this seat? I hope you never get it. I hope you're on the Supreme Court. That's exactly where you should be. And I hope that the American people will see through this charade. And I wish you well, and I intend to vote for you, and I hope everybody who's fair-minded will.
You're damn right, brother. You are damn right. The gloves came off yesterday, folks. You better damn well recognize the ref ain't getting in between you. He ain't breaking you up. These guys have kidney punched us and rabbit punched us for too long. The ref ain't doing squat. They're going to bite your ear off Mike Tyson style. And you damn well better get those gloves off and get ready for a fight. And that speech yesterday changes everything. They were stunned, Joe. You watched it like the Democrats were stunned. You know why? They're not ready for the storm. They were used to the old rules. We accuse you of being misogynist and hating women, and you apologize and back down, and the media doubles down. That died yesterday. But now we follow it up with raw political power. That died yesterday. That died with that one speech. We're taking back the floor. And folks, make no mistake when I tell you this. The Democrats know what they're doing is morally evil. They know this. The most troubling component of this entire disgusting, sordid tale is the fact that this is not out of some component of naivete. The Democrats absolutely know the destruction of human lives and everybody else they're going to take down with it. Remember, they just didn't take down this guy. They took Judge, P.J. Smith, everybody else who's been thrown into this, who denies this ever happened, their lives have been upended. They are destroying and taking down. This is a carnage operation like I've never seen before by the Democrats. They know what they're doing is evil. They watched that man. And you know how I know it? Go watch the video yesterday. When Kavanaugh talks, I don't even want to get choked up. Folks, when he talks about his 10-year-old daughter, we should pray for the woman. Watch Alyssa Milano, far-left radical activist in the background. The old actress. Well, I think she's still an actress. I don't mean old chronologically, but remember her from Who's the Boss? She's now become a radical leftist actress. Watch her in the background.
Yeah.
Watch her try to hold back tears. Folks, the most evil acts in the world are evil acts conducted with a knowledge that what you're doing is in fact wrong. Listen, why is there a defense for psychopathological illnesses in court? There's a defense because there's an acknowledgement that certain psychopathologies and pathological mental conditions take away volitional acts, meaning the person may not have even known what they were doing. There's no question it was wrong. Someone kills someone. It was wrong. The person died. It's obvious. But why is there a defense in court? There's a defense in court because we want to acknowledge that it was a conscious act of willing evil. And in cases of psychopathology, sometimes it's not. What makes what's going on such a human disgrace on a cataclysmic, apocalyptic scale is that the loony Democrats on that committee absolutely know that they are destroying the life of a good man for nothing more than raw political power. Watch her hold back tears. Why are you crying? Why are you crying, Alyssa? No, I'm dead serious. Why are you crying? What are you crying about? Why are you crying? I thought you said he was a serial rapist, a rape train guy. Drugs women. Why are you crying? Why so emotional? You got him, don't you? Why are you crying as he tells the story of his daughter asking to pray for Dr. Ford? Why are you crying? Little hurt? Maybe you have to recognize now your own role in the destruction of this man's life and it emotionally bothers you? Folks, I've interviewed a lot of people over the years. 12 years in the Secret Service, 4 years with the NYPD. There's a big difference between crying, genuine emotional crying, induced by uncontrollable emotion, and stage crying. And let me tell you something about Kavanaugh yesterday. Listen to how many times. What do you think he's doing? Think he's got allergies? It's a hallmark nearly every single time that someone can't control their emotions. The mucus develops, it develops in your nose. The tears come down your face. You notice how people in Hollywood, when they cry, you don't hear them sniffling in the movies? Why is that? Think Kavanaugh was acting yesterday? You thought he was acting. Why were you crying too, Alyssa? You have to look in the mirror. See what you did to this man, his father, soccer coach, basketball coach, public servant. Do you have to recognize finally your role in it? Why were you crying? Folks, I have a lot more to get to, so I don't want you to go anywhere. I want to get to Dr. Ford, too, because there were two components yesterday. But I want to leave you again with this thought. We do have to pay for the show. Again, I always appreciate your patience. I've altered the ads today and the read of them because this is not only is it important you vote, it is important that you coolly, calmly, and I'm not lecturing anybody. Again, I can't say this enough. For 100,000 independent, separate listeners to the show. Well over. You know what? I usually don't disclose our numbers. I will today because it's important. We are demand an upvote. Vote no. It is an unequivocal. One change can make all the difference. Hair Club. One change can make all the difference. Hair Club knows about the latest proven. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, whether it's an arbitration dispute, whether it's a union dispute, whether it's an athletics dispute, the principle of due process holds in a moral and ethical society. It is not just a legal framework on a criminal charge. So the left's come back to this that, well, innocent till proven guilty doesn't matter because it's a Senate confirmation. You know what? It matters because we're a moral and ethical country. Dr. Ford's making serious allegations against this man. Serious allegations. A man I believe is innocent. The evidence matters. It matters everywhere else in life. I want to point some problems out here. Number one, there was no additional detail provided yesterday or corroborating evidence that Dr. Ford's account of the events as she states them is in fact accurate. I don't know what happened to Dr. Ford. I have no idea. I was not there. Obviously. The problem is the people she claims were there have resolutely, under the penalty of perjury, denied the fact that the events as she states them happened. Ladies and gentlemen, does this matter to you? And if it doesn't, please explain to me why. How a father, a husband, a coach, a public servant's life can be destroyed based on corroborating evidence, air quotes, that corroborates nothing and is evidence that it didn't happen. Please explain that to me. Second, there was a noticeable, Joe, and I know you noticed this because we were talking about it yesterday on text. A noticeable lack of any detail. Ladies and gentlemen, this is very suspicious.
Yes.
There is no where. We still don't know where that happened. Folks, if we knew the location where it happened, then it would be possible for the homeowner or a resident of the house to claim it didn't, or it did. The lack of detail as to a location of the crime invites the obvious question, or the assault in this case, the alleged assault. The lack of a location, if you were an investigator worth any kind of salt at all, isn't a very suspicious omission. The lack of a when. Folks, we don't need a specific date. I understand that people who have allegations of being a victim of some kind of assault like this, either physical, sexual, or otherwise, may not have any. Listen, things happen to me. I mean, to be fair, I don't remember the dates and everything either. But I certainly can narrow it down. The failure to narrow down to a specific time frame or any effort to do so would do what, Joe? If you are looking at this objectively, as we all should, we have one account that was very emotional and passionate, and we have another account that was very emotional and passionate. How do responsible people then evaluate this? They evaluate it based on corroboration evidence, which Judge Kavanaugh has produced. He has produced, actually at this point, 3 affidavits from people involved in it that said that the alleged victim produced that said no. He has produced his calendars that completely refute a lot of these allegations. Dr. Ford has produced nothing, not a date. The suspicious lack of a date, Joe, opens my eyes because having conducted these investigations, it gives the ability of the accused person to say, I wasn't there then. Yeah. The suspicious lack of detail. How Miss Ford got home from the site of the alleged attack, which she still can't tell us where. She narrows it down to a basically 6 to 8 mile distance from her house. Folks, 6 to 8 miles is a long walk. 6 miles running at a 7-minute mile would take you 42 minutes. That's the least of it. It's 6 to 8 miles. 6 miles walking at a healthy, brisk pace would probably take you over 2 hours. 6 miles walking at a slow pace would take you probably close to 3 hours. You don't remember anything? Is it not fair for us to ask that question? You have made credible, serious allegations, and you've been given the opportunity, fairly enough, to state them. How is it that none of those details are in that story? Now I'm asking you as a former investigator, would a reasonable investigator not say, well, if you had a driver, which we can now assume you did based on the distance from the general location you've stated, does the driver who drove you home know about it? And if not, why? Folks, these are fair questions in a fair society where the presumption of innocence is already established. Listen, I have no interest in attacking this woman. I mean it. It's not, really, I don't. I don't know this woman's history. I don't know her past, and it's not my goal at all. It is my goal, however, to deal with as a former investigator and a reasonable human being, to deal with 2 conflicting accounts. It is the duty and responsibility of both parties then to provide some form of evidence that their account is in fact true. Judge Kavanaugh has produced evidence. Dr. Ford's legal team thus far has produced none. All right, I want to get into a couple more things too about this, but let me just take a break because it gets really emotional here. All right, today's show also brought to you by our buddies at Blinkist. If you're like me, the list of books you want to read or those people suggest you read is never ending. It's always expanding. You simply don't have the time to read them all. Our sponsor, Blinkist, has solved your long list of must-reads once and for all. Stuff. The rule is I don't bring up their past because a lot of people have done things in the past that is not necessarily becoming of them, and I just don't think it's fair to do that. But Pekanis tried to call me out yesterday and said I was attacking this woman. I'm not attacking this woman, folks. I'm asking for evidence. You're suggesting that the man applying for the Supreme Court is a serial rapist running rape trains and drugging women. You are absolutely obligated as a witness then to provide some kind of evidence that what you're saying is in fact true. It is in any way disrespectful to anyone to say, folks, what exactly do you know? How do you know it? How do you know this happened? Sorry. All right. Let's get back together here. Yesterday clearly was an emotional day. All right, now you see yesterday, too, why it was so important, Joe, that Dr. Ford go first and Judge Kavanaugh go last.
Sure.
Now,
Yeah.
this was an issue because what led me to believe, and I told you last night about it, I didn't believe Dr. Ford was going to show up. Obviously, I was wrong. I covered that yesterday in the special edition. But one of the reasons I strongly believe that, based on some emails I was reading, is the demands they were making of Judge Kavanaugh were simply not doable. The accused person never, ever, ever in any system of justice, common law or otherwise, goes first. Why is that? You have to be obviously given the opportunity to address the accusations, which this is just common sense. You can't do if the accusations haven't been leveled.
Exactly.
So now, though, yesterday, you see one of the reasons the Democrats wanted the judge to go first, because they wanted the judge to give an impassioned appeal, which then they would attack afterwards, using Dr. Ford afterwards. So I just had that point there. It was important, and I want to give Senator Grassley, the Republican chair of the committee, some credit for holding fast on that and sticking to the rule of law. The rule of law indicates that the accused counters the charges. That's the way it works. Okay. Another point, critical takeaway. Again, we're establishing the veracity of their account of events. One of the stories told to us by the Ford legal team, Joe, was that Dr. Ford did not want to fly because she had some fear of flying.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is critical. Why is this critical? Because the Democrats are the ones alleging that there's no political component to Dr. Ford's allegations against Judge Kavanaugh. It is the Democrats saying this was purely out of her desire to come forward, that this had nothing to do with politics. Now, having stated that, the Democrats asked for a delay from the Monday hearing. There was no good reason for a Monday delay. Judge Kavanaugh had the right to clear his name, just like the alleged victim had the right to make the allegations. The Monday delay, I told you the strategy of it was to get to Thursday to avoid an October 1st seating. Is it cataclysmic? No. An October 1st seating of Judge Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court? No. But it's not good. They achieved that. They achieved that by stating she had a fear of flying, Dr. Ford, which clearly, based on yesterday's testimony, does not seem to have inhibited her from flying quite often. These are relevant towards establishing the credibility of the account.
Yeah.
She clearly flew to the polygraph on October 7th. We know from yesterday under questioning that she's flown to other places as well. Are we interested anymore in evidence? Does this even matter? It should. Another critical thing that came out yesterday. The Republican members of the Senate said to Dr. Ford, well, Dr. Ford, we would have flown out to California to take your statement. We relayed this to your legal team. Ford, in the testimony, Joe, I know you saw this, said her lawyers never told her that. Why would Democrat activist lawyers like Katz's firm there, one of the lawyers there, and Bromwich, why would these activists not notify her if she was afraid of flying like they allege, that the Republican committee members or their staff would have flown to her? Why would they not notify Dr. Ford of that? Why would they not do that? Maybe because they were looking for a delay, and the delay was political the entire time? Now, folks, let me be clear on this. I'm not catering to any audience, you or otherwise, to tell you the truth. I believe what she said, Ms. Ford, on that account. I absolutely believe her lawyers didn't tell her that. There is no reason under oath she would say that and humiliate her lawyers if it wasn't true. You see where I'm going with this, Joe?
Mm-hmm.
I believe she didn't know she was throwing her lawyers under the bus, because now other people say, well, it was out there in the public. I don't know what her lawyers were telling her. I believe that the lawyers at this point may have been hiding this somehow from her. That, this is just a political play. No, they're not going to come out here. We got to go out there and we got to wait till next week. There's no good reason under oath to throw the lawyers under the bus. There was a number, folks, I'm just basing it based on my experience here, interviewing people. There were a number of excuses she could have came up with to say why the Republicans couldn't come out there. I had people in town, whatever. There's a million different things. I think she was genuinely caught off guard by that. She may have read it in the paper. Someone may have told her, oh, that's nonsense. They're really not, they're going to come out here. We got to go there. But that story clearly indicates to me that the legal team she hired had pure political motives in this. That somehow, there's only two scenarios. And listen, I could be wrong. Maybe she did know and she threw the lawyers under the bus. I don't know. Maybe she didn't know. I'm suggesting to you there's a strong possibility they did not in fact know. Finally, the most powerful piece of what I saw yesterday. Folks, when asked about Leland Kaiser, who was one of the witnesses Dr. Ford indicated would be able to corroborate some portion of her account of the allegations she made against Judge Kavanaugh. When asked about Leland Kaiser and why Leland Kaiser, again, a witness she provided, Ford's team, could not confirm her account of the event. As a matter of fact, does not remember the party at all. Why is this critical? Because some defenders of Dr. Ford, including Jennifer Granholm, who was on CNN, said, well, Leland Kaiser's denial, Joe, that she knows anything about it actually confirms Dr. Ford's account, because Ford would have steamed out of the house after this happened, this alleged attack, and would have not told anyone. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not what happened. No, no, no. Leland Kaiser does not remember the party at all. This is not an account of Dr. Ford running out of a house and not telling her and alleging she was there. She doesn't remember the party at all. When asked about that specific event, that, hey, Leland Kaiser's not confirming your account, matter of fact, doesn't even remember the party, Ford, in one of the more confusing moments of the testimony, says, well, no, she texted me afterwards with letters, with words of support, and is having a bunch of medical issues she needs to deal with. Wait, what? Folks, listen. You can show respect and dignity to people and let them tell their story, but you have to. Is that an appropriate thing to put out in front of Joe? How many people were watching? You say 50 million?
Everybody. Yeah.
Everybody. People watching in my daughter's gymnastics gym, as I told you on the special last night. Is that an appropriate thing to put out there? That the woman has medical issues she's dealing with? I don't know, folks. I mean, we can look at this reasonably and say, it was a very, very interesting moment, to say the least. All right. One more thing. It reminds me of being on the 5. Every time you go on the 5, you get the one more thing segment.
Yeah.
You know, you go up there. So last time I addressed my friend Colin Johnson, who passed from us too early. I thought that was appropriate. All right, today's show finally brought to you by our buddies at Robinhood. These guys are great, super easy to use too. Robinhood is an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos. Whatever your bag of donuts is, they'll take care of it. But it's important we put it out there. Because you won't have that adversarial component and you don't have due process in the traditional sense, there is a separate procedure set up before information makes it to the court called substantive steps whatsoever in the dossier that came from foreign sources, Joe. Who has expertise in developing intelligence overseas? The CIA, run by John Brennan. What exactly was done to verify that information? Did John Brennan have a role in it? Matter of fact, when we develop foreign sources, there's absolutely no doubt that John Brennan's CIA at the time would have had a role in that. Who were those foreign sources? Were they vetted? Were they signed off on? More to come on that one. I have that article today. It's from the Daily Caller up in the show notes too. Folks, again, I'm asking you to please read Rich Lowry's piece today about the vindication of Trumpian politics. Keep it in mind. New rules. New rules are in effect. We win, folks. We win. Throw the old rules out. Yesterday was a cataclysmic shift in our politics, but now we follow it up. Now we walk in that booth and we exercise our constitutional republic's raw political power. and we keep these people out of office, hopefully for a very, very long time. Hey, thanks for tuning in.